Hello dear friends, this is your personal English coach Professor DC, and in this video we will be understanding the present perfect tense in depth. On my screen you can see the agenda of my video explanation, which is very simple and straightforward. I'm going to start off with defining the present perfect tense. I'll give you the formula of all those sentences that are in the present perfect tense. Next, I'll give you several scenarios. I'll talk about several scenarios, situations or incidents in which you should be using the present perfect tense to explain that scenario. Not any other tense, only the present perfect tense. Now, if I didn't give you examples, you may not understand this concept at all. So I have decided that I will be bombarding you with lots and lots of examples, so that you can not only relate those sentences with the formula, but also understand that scenario, that situation well. And finally, I'm going to summarize for all those of you who are running out of time. In fact, you can skip this video to my summary explanation so that you save time. But again, I insist you to go through the whole video. Let me also remind you that on my channel, I have already uploaded the in-depth explanation of the simple present tense, the simple past tense, and the simple future tense. In fact, I have also made a playlist called English Grammar, and these videos should run sequentially. So if you start learning about the simple present tense, the next video should be past tense, and then the next video should be future tense. And perhaps the next video should be the present perfect tense, which I am going to explain. I hope you're ready. Now, those of you who have already seen my videos, my earlier videos on present, past and future, know that I use this graphical representation to explain tenses. For those of you who are watching this video for the very first time, let's understand this chart. As already indicated in the diagram, the blue line here indicates the present time or the current moment that you and I are in. I have drawn a red ball to indicate action or an event. And from the diagram it is very clear that if I am talking about simple present tense, the red ball will be on the present time, which means an action or an event is either going on or regularly taking place in the present time, and therefore the tense that I'm going to use to describe this situation will be simple present tense. Let's go back to the roots. What is a tense? Tense is a time indicated by a verb form. I have also talked about verb forms in my earlier videos. So there are 5 verb forms that exist in English grammar. Surprised? Yes, there are 5 verb forms: V1, V2, V3, V4, V5. And in simple present tense, I'm gonna use V1. So the sentence structure in English, which is usually S plus V plus O, will become S plus V1 plus O. In my next video, I have talked about the simple past tense using the same analogy. As you can see on my screen, the blue line indicates the present time and the red ball indicates action or an event. And where is the red ball? It is before the present time. And is it touching the blue line? It is definitely not, which means the action or an event has occurred in the past and it does not extend or exist into the present. It does not happen at all in the current time. And therefore, to describe the situation or scenario, we will be using a verb form V2. And if we use the verb form V2 to demonstrate an event that has occurred in the past already and which does not exist or extend into the present, I would call this representation as the simple past tense. If you have seen my video, then you and I know that we went through 7 different scenarios and we saw lots and lots of examples for each scenario to understand this tense well. For those of you who are new to this video, I insist you to understand the simple present tense, past tense and future tense first. Again, what is the formula for simple past tense? It's subject plus V2 as it's written here plus object. What is V1? V1 is the base verb. V2 is the past form of that verb and V3 is the past participle. What is a participle? When you modify the base verb by adding something like ing or ed or en, it is called V3. But for the past tense, we will be using V2. In my third video, I have explained the simple future tense in depth. The blue line represents the present time. The red ball indicates action or an event. And from the figure, you can easily make out that the red ball is far away from the blue line, and that too in the future. I have placed the ball in the future. So, this clearly means that the action has not happened yet, but it will happen sometime in future. And therefore, we will be adding something called will in every sentence, which represent the simple future tense. So, the formula is subject plus will plus V1, the base verb, plus object. And we had seen 7 different scenarios to understand the simple future tense better. I have already mentioned in my earlier videos that grammar is all about practice. Grammar is all about brainstorming. I have seen people making 10-minute videos of a very deep concept of grammar. That's not how it works. You will have to bear the pain. You will have to get involved in brainstorming sessions with English. Alright, now we are going to step into level 2, I would say. And that is the present perfect tense. All the confusion starts here, but rest assured I will clear it. To understand this tense better, I'm going to use the same figure, the same diagram that I've used in the simple present, past and future. The blue line, let's say that it indicates the present time, the current situation, this moment where you and I are in. Now, I have shown you the diagrams of present, past and future. You tell me that if I draw a red ball which indicates an action or an event, where should I place it when I'm talking about the present perfect tense? Am I going to place before the blue line? Or am I going to place it on top of the blue line? And here is the answer. I'm going to have to place the ball before the blue line and connect it with the ball on top of the blue line. And why is that so? That brings us to the definition of the present perfect tense. I have drawn this kind of diagram just to indicate that the action has either been completed already or have happened in a period of time up to now. Once again, I want to talk about events that have been completed or have happened in a period of time up to now. Now let's talk about the formula of the sentence structure. It will be subject plus has or have plus V3 plus object. So as soon as these two words get introduced in any sentence, you have to understand that this form of tense is not a simple one, but something else. And remember that we will be using V3. What is V3 again? It is the past participle of a verb. So if you take any verb and change it a little bit by adding ing or ed or en, whatever is appropriate or relevant, it becomes V3. So by now I have shown you the swimming pool. I have told you how to swim. I have told you about the trick of swimming, but to understand this concept in depth, we have to dive into the swimming pool. So let's get right into it. Let's understand the different scenarios where you should be using the present perfect tense. First scenario is when you want to talk about how long of something. For example, I have known Karen since 1994. So the action of knowing Karen goes back to 1994, and even in the present time, you know Karen. So let's go back to the formula. Subject plus has or have plus we3. She has lived in London for 3 years. Subject plus has or have plus we3 plus object. So let's understand this. The action of living started 3 years back, and she is still living in London, and therefore we have to use the present perfect tense. She has lived in London for 3 years. She was living and she is still living right now. I have thought about it for 2 hours. Now friends, as I go on speaking the sentences, I want you to recall this diagram, recall the formula, and keep on relating, alright? But I know there is one very important question that's there in your mind. Professor, when should I use have? And when should I use has? Here is a little trick. And trust me friends, many leaders, many senior people make mistakes in this. The trick is when you're using I, you, we and they, you have to use have. So it is I have, you have, we have, they have. It cannot be I has, you has, we has, they has. It is incorrect. Secondly, you have to use he, she, it with has. He has, she has, it has. He cannot be have, she cannot be have, it cannot be have. We cannot say he have, she have, it have. He has, she has, it has, and I have, you have, we have, they have. So now the formula is getting clear a little bit. Now you might also ask, Professor, has and have is clear. What about we3? If you go to Google and type we3 list, you would get a list of all the we3s, which is nothing but a list of past participle verbs. Alright, I went to Google and I searched for we3 list, and here is what I have. So for the present perfect tense, we are going to use the third column. Been, beaten, become, begun, bent, bet, bid, bitten, blown, broken, and so on and so forth. But you must be thinking, how do I remember this we3s? Friends, this is the reason why whenever you ask anyone as to how can you master English, they say you have to read a lot of books, you have to watch a lot of English movies, you have to read newspapers, because there is no shortcut to memorizing we3. You have to memorize them by heart. What I would suggest is memorize all these, go to your friend or family or relative and give them this list and ask them to ask you the V1, V2, V3 of a particular verb. Ask them to choose any verb and you tell the V2 and V3. Now there is another problem. Verb forms are not only divided into V1, V2 and V3, they are also divided into regular verbs and irregular verbs. Now what are they? Let's focus on the word bid to explain and understand regular verbs. Do you see bid as V1? What is the spelling? BID. V2 is also BID. V3 is also BID, which means in all the verb forms, I'm not changing the spelling, I'm not changing the pronunciation, and therefore I will call bid as a regular verb. But let's take another word called blow. This particular word has another spelling in V2, another pronunciation as well, and a separate spelling and a separate pronunciation in V3. So blow becomes blew and blown. V1, V2, V3. Now I'm changing the spelling as well as the pronunciation. I'm changing the whole structure of this particular verb. And therefore, I will call such a verb as an irregular verb. There are so many irregular verbs that you should master. For example, catch, caught, caught. Cost is a regular verb. Do, did, done. Another irregular verb. Now, I hope you are getting more and more clarity. I'll proceed with typing the examples, and I want you to recall the diagram, the formula, and the definition. You have been sick since last week. I have not been quite myself since the accident. Kelly has had cats since I remember. Taylor has lived here since 1992. Since when have you been sick? She has worked in the bank for 5 years. We have had the same car for 10 years. I have known Julie for 10 years. We have lived here since 2004. I have been hungry for the last 4 hours. I have liked chocolate since I was a child. I have lived in Canada my entire lifetime. It had been such a miserable day. Friends, spot the mistake. I have used had. Had never comes in picture when we are talking about present perfect tense. So, it has been raining all day and therefore it has been such a miserable day. He has lost weight since he has been running every day. I have known her for 6 years. She has been there since Monday. She has smoked cigarettes since she was a teenager. I have loved you since the day I met. We have married for 25 years. Is there a mistake in the sentence? There is, because the process of marriage did not continue for 25 years. So we can say we have been married for 25 years. I have been a vegetarian since I was a young girl. We have not eaten anything since we got here. I have been feeling sick since I ate that cake. I have felt much better since the window's been open. Eddie has done a lot of work since he joined us. It hasn't rained for weeks. I have not eaten anything since yesterday's breakfast. We have lived in Stockholm since 2005. She has become very annoying since she quit smoking. I have not seen Dan for 2 weeks. The dog hasn't had any food since 3 o'clock. We have stayed at the motel for 2 days. I have not received any mail for a week. Jackson has been ill for 2 weeks. They have not seen my son since the beginning of the year. I have not lived in Istanbul since 1995. I haven't been in Germany since I got married. Now friends, when you introduce not, we are expressing negation. So before has or have and the verb which is in V3, you can introduce not. Last I saw him in September. I have not seen him since then. I haven't heard from him since she phoned us. Friends, what is the error here? Since he. I haven't heard from him since he phoned us 6 hours ago. I haven't seen him for years. They have not lived here for years. We have had the same car for 10 years. Have you played the piano since you were a child? I have lived in Frankfurt for 10 years. I have worked in the same job for the past 30 years. I eaten much chocolate recently? Or you can say, I haven't eaten much chocolate. Have not, haven't. I have had my car for 20 years. Now you would say, Professor, I see the word had. But this is a correct sentence, and this is a sentence in present perfect tense because the word had is used as a past participle, and before that you have. So subject plus have or has plus V3. Another example, she has had a shower for over an hour, which means from an hour she is inside the bathroom having a shower. She's still inside. I have known her for 30 years. So friends, I have given you enough and more examples of all the scenarios where you want to express how long and where you should be using which tense? The present perfect tense. It's time to mark all the V3s, and it is absolutely very easy to find V3. How? Just look out for the word has or have. Known, lived, thought, been, had. Had is again used as a verb here. Lived, been. Now sentence structure can change. Something like, since when have you been sick? You can also say, since when you have been sick. Worked, had, known, lived, been, liked, lived, been, lost, known, been, smoked, loved, been, eaten. Again, sentence in negation, not is introduced between have and V3. Been, felt, done, rained, eaten, lived, she has become, seen, had, stayed, received, been, seen, lived, been. Last I saw him in September. I have not seen, heard, seen, lived. We have had. Have you played the piano since you were a child? Have you played? As I said, the sentence structure can change. The pronoun can be appearing in the middle. That's okay. Lived, worked, eaten, had, no. Fair enough. At least I hope you are now aware of how to use the present perfect tense. These examples must have given you a great idea on the usage of this tense. Now this is commonly used and therefore there are lots of examples. But let's see some other scenarios. So friends, you must have your grandmother or your grandfather or maybe an elder person in your house, even your parents. They love to share life experiences. And if you are communicating in English in your own house, the communication should be in present perfect tense. Yes, if you are narrating your experiences, the narration should be in present perfect. What do I mean by that? Let's check it out. I have been to Mexico. You might be thinking, which action was started in the past, was completed in the past, and it has been carrying along till the present time? If you consider this sentence, it is the experience of being in Mexico. Let's check out some other examples. She has never studied Japanese. I have been to France 3 times. He has never traveled by train. John has studied 2 foreign languages. Or should we pronounce it as Joan? I have been to Tokyo. She has lived in Germany. So, friends, these are comparatively small sentences just to narrate experiences. And you must have observed that all these sentences have words like never, ever, before, etc. They have visited Paris 3 times. We have never seen that film. Have you ever read War and Peace? The teacher has not arrived yet. My son has never been to Moscow. My brother has never gone to London. The cat has just caught a bird. The guests have arrived. I have just finished my homework. Have you ever been to United States? To the United States? Now, usage of articles. Why did we use the here? Because we are talking about a specific country called United States. When you are specific, you use the. When you are not specific, you use a. Have you ever traveled by train? Have you ever failed a class? The spelling is correct. Why does it show me a spelling error? I have never cheated in an exam. She has just told me what you did. They have just finished homework. I have never seen him before. They still haven't forgotten what you said. They have never arrived late. Bob hasn't ever smoked. She has already forgotten what you did. Have you ever seen a double rainbow? Has Jim ever been late for work? Has Julie ever had a fight? She hasn't ever fought with a boyfriend. They have not ever arrived early. I think these many examples should be sufficient for you to understand how to narrate life experiences using the present perfect tense. Now it's time to mark all the verbs which are in V3. Been. Again, what is the trick? Just look out for the words has and have, and the word adjacent to them will be V3. Sometimes there can be change of sentence structure. Now here you see there's a negation, so never has appeared in between has and V3. That's completely fine. Been, traveled, studied, been, lived, visited, seen, read, has not arrived. You keep guessing while I keep marking. Keep guessing as I move on. Been, gone, caught, arrived, finished, been, traveled, failed, cheated. She has just told me. Just is introduced in between has and the verb. That's fine. Finished, seen, forgotten, arrived, smoked. Not ever is introduced. That's completely allowed. Forgotten, seen, been, had is used as a verb here. Have Julie ever had a fight? So you see, sentence structure is different, but you should be able to figure out the action. Fought. You must have thought of fight as a verb, but you see the difference. Fight is V1, fought is V3. Arrived. Now I've changed the word from unfinished to represent approximate time. Now this is the third scenario where you should be using the present perfect tense. You must have seen sentences which have these phrases: this month, this week, today, frequently, already. So we are trying to give a time reference, but that is approximate. For example, we have seen Lucy this week. I'm not specifying which day of the week or which day and time and date of the week. I'm just saying we have seen Lucy this week. Let's check out some more examples. I have worked hard this week. It has rained a lot this year. We have not seen her today. They have never seen that film, or you can say they have seen that film a lot of times. It has happened several times already. She has visited them frequently. We have eaten at that restaurant. Let me add many times. So, we have eaten at that restaurant many times. I have not seen her this month. This week they have been shopping several times. She has drunk 3 cups of tea today. She hasn't called me lately. Do you think she's sick? She's had a lot of bad luck recently. You haven't finished the exercise yet. I have played tennis many times already this week, and it's only Thursday. She has been back to Korea twice already this year. Alright, these examples should be more than enough to explain all the sentences that show approximate time. So let's mark all the verbs which are in V3. The trick is to look out for the word has and have, and the adjacent word will be V3. Seen, worked, rained, seen. This is a negation. Seen, happened, visited, eaten, seen. They have been shopping. Is that a mistake? Yes, it is. Been is a verb here. Has drunk, called, had is a verb here. Finished, played, been. Alright, that's about it. Let's check out the final scenario where present perfect tense is used. We use the present perfect tense to indicate the present result. What do I mean by that? For example, I can say, I have lost my keys. So the action of losing keys started sometimes back and it is continuing up to this point. And so I will use the present perfect tense. Let's check out 11 more examples. And all these examples will directly or indirectly show result. For example, John has missed the bus, so he will be late. Or you can think like this. As a result of John missing the bus, he will be late. Have you just finished work? I have just eaten. We have just seen her. Has he just left? I have already done my homework. She has hurt her leg. They have missed the bus. I have cooked the dinner. Since it has rained, we are staying indoors. I have eaten all the chocolates since I got home. Now let's go ahead and mark all the verbs which are in V3. Lost, missed, finished, eaten, seen, left. I have already done. Hurt, missed, cooked, rained, eaten. Since I got home. Shall we also mark got? Let's do that. So, which are the 4 different scenarios in which you should use the present perfect tense? If you want to represent how long of something, if you want to narrate the life experiences, if you want to represent approximate time, and if in case you want to talk about the present result. It's time for summary. Let's summarize the present perfect tense. If the diagram on my screen is easy to remember, nothing like it. On my screen you can see a blue line which represents the present time and red dots, or we can say red balls, indicating actions. And for the present perfect tense, I have drawn two red colored dots and they are connecting to each other, which means that the action have been completed or have happened in a period of time up to now. The formula of present perfect tense is subject plus has or have plus past participle of the verb, that is we3, plus object. You should use have when the subject is I, you, we, they. I have, you have, we have, they have. You should use has when the subject is he, she, it. So he has, she has, it has. So dear friends, I hope I was able to explain the present perfect tense in depth. Ask me all your questions in the comment section and I would love to answer them. If there's any other concept in English grammar that you want me to explain, please also mention that in your comments and I will be more than happy to help you. Make sure you go through my earlier videos. My next video will be about past perfect tense and after that future perfect tense. So friends, I thank you for watching and I hope you have a wonderful day ahead.